What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK back with another video. Today I just want to talk about why I think the Dallas Mavericks are not contenders this season. And without further ado, enough for the fluff, let's get straight to the stuff. All right, so without fluffing this up too much, I just want to say that I don't believe that the Dallas Mavericks are going to be a top 6 team or even a contender this upcoming season for the following reasons. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know it might not be that controversial coming from someone that's as jaded as I am with the Dallas Mavericks, but the cool thing about what I'm able to do this season is, and the way I talk about the Mavericks, is I'm able to be far more realistic, far more basketball-oriented takes versus applying a emotional, humoristic, hype, hopeful vibe when it comes to the team. So I'm gonna give you the real deal, the real spill. The things that other people are not considering, the things that other creators are not thinking about, right? And maybe they are thinking about it, but trust me, I've been thinking of this and knowing this since a while ago, okay? Reason number one, I don't think the Mavericks are inclined to contend this upcoming season. It is due to Anthony Davis's potential of missing games. Over the last 5 seasons, he's played 36 games in 2021, 40 games in 2022, 56 games in 2023, 76 games in 2024, not bad, and then 51 games in 2025. If you average the last 5 seasons out, he is averaging 51.8 games per season every season. Now, if he is at 52 games this upcoming season, I am completely worried about the Mavericks' potential, because for the most part, he is going to be your best player. Even when Kyrie comes back, he still will be your best player. And if your best player is only available for 52 games of the season, that means he's out for 30 games in the season. And can you realistically look at me in my eyes and be like, oh, the Mavericks are still going to be contenders? And that's one layer of this entire thing, of this pie that everybody's eating, of this Kool-Aid that everyone's drinking, right? Like, that is one layer of it that is an actual concern, right? And I'm not saying I wish injuries on this man. And in my background, you have to go off of trends, right? And this is something that you could expect because of his background and being known as Mr. Glass, right? Or Anthony Day-to-Day Davis. This is a nickname for a reason. And I know we killed Kristaps Porzingis when he was here for being unavailable a lot. Hey, we got to call a spade and keep it fair, right? We got to do the same thing here. But I'm only saying this is what he is averaging. This is the last 5-year average. And if he is at only 52 games this upcoming season, that is going to be a potential problem for the Dallas Mavericks if he is out for 30 games. Not to mention how many games Mr. Derek Lively plays. And I haven't even looked at that yet. Let me see how many games Mr. Derek Lively has played here. Let's take a look. He played 36 games he played 36 games last season. Derek Lively played 36 games last year, bro. And then he played 55 in his rookie season. Hold on. 55 plus 36. That's tough, bro. That's tough. Hold on. Okay, so I have to go do the numbers. Derek Lively is playing 45 and a half games per season in his first 2 seasons. That's tough, bro. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're going off of averages, right, and Derek Lively had a procedure the offseason, Mr. Anthony Davis had an eye issue during the season and the offseason, he had a procedure, and Kyrie, he's probably going to miss all the way until January, February. So that's the issue right there, right? Like, just on those 3 premises alone, that is an actual issue to consider. And I think you actually have to consider it. And if you don't consider it and you're just saying, oh, the Mavericks, they're just set up for success, I don't know what to tell you, right? Flagg, I will say this much. I think Flagg's going to be an awesome player. He is a rookie, so I am not putting any pressure on the guy. I'm not expecting him to be able to lead your team to victories when AD or Derek Lively are out. PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, Martin, Klay Thompson, all these other guys are role players, supportive role players. They're not number ones. They're not number twos. They're not even number threes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to keep this thing in perspective to realize that you don't have guys that could go out there and explode in a basketball game where you have to score. Nico has fooled people into thinking that defenses win championships when you need a guy. Like, you look at the NBA Finals, they had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Tyrese Halliburton, guys that run the offense in an elite way, in a very elite way, right? And so that takes me to my next point when it comes to D'Angelo Russell. So D'Angelo Russell being the top guy for the Mavericks, so to speak, as, you know, the main offensive initiator, the floor general, the blah, 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 right? His offensive rating last year was 116.2. I'll have to verify that. Yeah, it's 116.2 last season. When you compare him to the top tier elite players, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was 129 and Tyrese was 130. Whole different ball game, right? The offensive box plus minus, D'Angelo Russell's was plus 1.4, which is pretty good when you measure it over a couple of seasons. Shai Gilgeous, 6.6, a plus 6.6. Luka, he's in this tier at a point plus 5.1, and Tyrese at a plus 5.7. That's just crazy. So there's that tells you what you need to have a successful squad. You could have all the role players you want. You really can. But if you don't have the number one to maximize said role players, and I'm not going to say D'Angelo Russell can't, you know, surprise people and be like, yeah, he knows how to lead a squad. I'm just saying that I think it's a tall task to ask for someone that we know. Well, I know I'm not the biggest guy on D'Angelo Russell. I think it fits in the now, but I don't think it fits in the scheme of getting you to become a contender for this upcoming season. So let's take a look at some couple stats right here, right? I don't know if y'all can see this. We'll put it like that. Go over here. Make it a little bigger so y'all can see this stuff. Right there. Okay, so this is players last season, regular season, pick and roll ball handler. This is when they are the pick and roll ball handling guard, okay? At least over 3.9 possessions, as you see right here. Tyrese Halliburton, he had 6.4 of those possessions. He was averaging 1.1 points per possession and in those 6 possessions, which is pretty good. Obviously, top of the league, 95.5 percentile, okay? Because if you put it at 0 possessions and greater, you're going to get people that are at 100 percentile with only, you know, half a possession. Like, you don't want to see that. So I had to put it at 3.9 so we get some real stats. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he averages 9.6 possessions in a pick and roll ball handling duty. He's shooting 51% during that time. 94 percentile. He's up there, right? Hell, Kyrie Irving is in here. Look at that. 5 possessions, you know, 47%. He's in a 91 percentile in that scenario. Jalen Brunson, Darius Garland, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Maxey, Jordan Poole, Luka, and then boom, here goes D'Angelo Russell with 4.3 possessions per game with pick and roll duties. He's averaging 0.96 points per game. And people looking at the Luka stat above, they're gonna be like, oh well, he's Luka. Come on, let's be for real. But he is in the 74 percentile, so that's not the worst. That's not that. It's not bad actually. It's really not that bad. They're actually pretty good. The only issue comes into play is when, say, Anthony Davis is out, right? So Anthony Davis is out. You got D'Lo, Klay, Flagg, PJ, and say a D-Live or a Gafford, which is not a bad lineup, but it's not a lineup that is going to beat players or beat these teams in the Western Conference that in the NBA. I want y'all to understand that the Western Conference is legit, ladies and gentlemen. The Spurs are for real. Houston's for real. OKC's for real. Denver's for real. Clippers are for real. Lakers are pretty good for the Mavs fans that are, against Luka all of a sudden. You got almost 7 teams out there that are pretty good, and the Memphis Grizzlies they got some talent, right? They got some talent. I don't even want to say the Warriors. I don't even think I want to say the Warriors. But when you run that lineup, a D'Lo, Clay, Flagg, PJ, and a D Live in the 30 or so games that Anthony Davis is out, is that enough to beat those teams? Hell no. Let's be for real. Let's keep it going. So this is D'Angelo Russell in isolation, okay? Isolation, offensive possessions. Let me put this down here. There we go. So in Brooklyn, he had 1 possession per game in isolation. He averaged a point there. He was pretty good. He was in the top 86 percentile. In LA, he got 0.6 possessions per game. He was getting 1.35 points per game, which is top 99 percentile. Not bad, but when you look at these possessions, the number of possessions is super low, right? So let's say we were to adjust this and we were to go off of possessions, all right? We'll go greater. Let's go with players that have 5 possessions or more. Then you're able to see these elite players in this category that are able to maintain an offense and run the offense and be in the top percentile. You got James Harden, you got Shai Gilgeous, you got Luka, Kyrie, things of that sort. So that's why Kyrie is so important. If he is able to get back in time, it's just I think if Kyrie gets back, it'll be more in a push for a play-in scenario. Call me crazy. I don't care. Let's continue. This right here is D'Angelo Russell's defensive dashboard. This is what players are shooting against him when he is guarding them. So whenever D'Lo is like guarding somebody, this is what the teams are shooting against the homie. So in 58 games, he is defending 11.1 shots per game. They're making 5.4 of those shots with a defensive field goal percentage of 48.5. When these players that he is defending against normally shoot 46%, that means they're shooting 2.4% better against D'Angelo Russell. So we already know D'Lo is not the greatest player defensively out there on the court, and we already know he's not the greatest offensive player either. And we're expecting him to be able to carry the load, not the load, but able to help this team and orchestrate the offense to be a contender. I just think that is way, way, way too much to ask for in a realistic sense. Not because I'm jaded, not because I hate Nico. It's just because it's reality. Same thing with Brandon Williams, same thing with Dante Exum. These guys are role players. They're not number ones, and you need number ones to be competitive in the NBA. Even if you have bigs, even if you have 3s and 4s and whatever the case may be, you need that one guy to be able to handle the rock and lead your team to success. That's what all the teams in the playoffs were last season. Think about it. Who was in the Western Conference Finals? You had OKC and Timberwolves. And then in the Eastern Conference, you had New York and Indiana. Teams that have players that run the offense, bro. You can have all the bigs you want. Salute to the homie Marcel. You can have all the bigs you want. It doesn't result in wins. Not in this NBA. No, sir. Not today. Not anytime soon. Last category. This is D'Angelo Russell's shooting splits per zone. When it's less than 5 feet, he is shooting 38%. So him getting to the bucket it's not the greatest. When he's shooting between 9 to 5 feet at less than 1 shot per game, he's averaging 75%. It's pretty good. At 10 to 14 feet, he's averaging 66% with 1.2 shots per game. At 15 to 19 feet, 0%. That's tough. Like, he don't even have a midi. He don't even have a midi. If you don't have a midi, that's tough. At 20 to 24 feet, he's averaging 66% with less than 1 shot per game. And at 25 to 29 feet, at 4 shots per game, he is averaging 18.2%. Wow. Wow. Those are stats, ladies and gentlemen. Those are real stats. I did not manipulate anything. But that was just my deep dive to let you know that the Dallas Mavericks, based on trends, based on having a rookie small forward or in Flagg or whatever, based on who you have at point guard, and based on Kyrie being out for a good amount of time, I don't think the Dallas Mavericks this upcoming season are going to be contenders or are going to be a top 6 seed in the league. If anything, they're most likely a play-in team. They will be a tough team to compete against. They're going to have a great defense. I think they're going to lack offensive creatability, right? They could create mismatches, and if they could execute and on those mismatches because of the sheer size that they have, whoa, they could definitely do these things, right? But it just really comes down to if they can. But other than that, man, it's been your boy TGK. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you think I'm on my rocker, off my rocker. I don't know. Let me know. Anyway, it's been your boy TGK, and I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Whoa, what is wrong with this? We out. Catch y'all later.